Joe, I gotta ask you, of course. I always appreciate your insight. Pacquiao Mayweather, it's finally done now. We're gonna get to see the fight now. Um, you know, how do you break? I know you said never bet against Floyd, but do you think Manny's able to still give him a pretty tough fight?
Look, I mean, if anybody's just out of hand discounting Manny Pacquiao, you'd be foolish. He's still. I think Manny's still vibrant. I think he's still got a lot left. Every fighter's got their ups and downs. They make a lot of money. Things get a little easier. They slack off a little bit. Things happen. You run for politics. On either side, they've both had their ups and downs where they've looked good one day and fantastic the next. I'd imagine that both these guys are going to be at the very top of their game that they could possibly be at this age. I don't discount Manny Pacquiao, and a lot of people don't discount Manny Pacquiao. If you were to, I'm sure up on the board in Vegas at the casinos, I'm sure Mayweather's probably a considerable favorite. Not a runaway favorite, but I'm sure a considerable favorite. And that would be the prevailing, thought, I think, out there, that Mayweather is the favorite and should be the favorite. He's undefeated. He's a hard guy to bet against. If you're looking at it that way, if you're going to actually put hard dollars down to who's going to win, Mayweather's an impossible guy to bet against. If you bet against him, you would have lost every fight. Okay, if you thought this guy was going to beat him or that guy, you would have been very mistaken, and you would have lost. And I don't think anything's changed until further notice. It's probably, I'm sure, Mayweather maybe a 3 to 5 to 1 favorite, which I think may be a little extreme, but I think it's closer than that. Just based on the fact that they're both, 6, 7-time world champions. They've beaten everybody there is to beat. Now, one of them is going to beat the other. And who that's going to be is ultimately tough to say. But if if push came to shove, you'd have to say who's the guy that's undefeated, they virtually have a bunch of common opponents. I just think Mayweather at this point, until further notice, is the guy to beat, not the other way around. I think he's going to be the guy to beat. I think, he's just an incredible athlete. He's older now. He's probably pushing 38, if not 38. Things have slowed down a little bit. That might benefit Manny, because I think Manny's still, got a little, like I said, a lot of vibrancy to his style. And and then again, Floyd's first. He may not be the first one to tell you, but people know Floyd. He's not a big fan of Southpaws. They do pose a problem for any fighter. And maybe Floyd's style that he's been taught his whole life, which works, incredibly well against right-handers, may not have the same efficiency against a left-hander. And that might, be a factor in this. I'd say that the fight that sticks out on my mind about that is the Zab Judah fight. Floyd's, great qualities of slipping, sliding, turning, and countering kind of didn't have a big effect in the first 5 rounds. He eventually put on the earmuffs and just marched him down and got Zab that way instead of using the skills that he's been taught. He had to go to a basic, just march down Zab Judah and get to him, which eventually worked. So, that might be a little bit of a factor in Manny's favor. That Southpaws pose a little bit of a problem for that style of defense that Mayweather has. And, I can't think of too many Southpaws that Mayweather has fought. The only one that sticks out on my mind is Zab Judah. But that may be not because he was avoiding Southpaws, because maybe there's not a lot of Southpaws that were, capable of getting a fight with him, because of their status. But, I remember James Prince years ago telling me that one of the reasons they didn't want to fight Casamayor is because he was a Southpaw. That poses a little bit of a problem in his mind. Look, I'm the same way. If our matchmaker said, if I'm bringing a guy up and he's in his 12th, 13th fight, and I go, who are we fighting? He goes, oh yeah, this left-hander who's like, 10-1. I go, what? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to fight a left-hander? It's the complete mirror opposite image. You don't get to spar with him very much in the gym. Mm-hmm. You're normally 99% of your sparring, or 95% of it, is against right-handers. So, all of your, everything you do and learn and base your style on is normally based off of a right-hander. You throw a sharp left-hander in the mix, let's say your fighter's 12-0. He's a right-hander, and you go, yeah, okay, in your 13th fight, you're going to fight this, 10-1, 12-1 Southpaw. I'm going, why would I want to do that? It's like I'm going to have to now hire Southpaw sparring and do a crash course in the next 6 weeks on, because my guy hasn't even sparred with the Southpaw in the past year. We've been fighting all right-handers. Mm-hmm. So these things pose problems, it's kind of inside baseball stuff, but they do. Most fighters don't like fighting Southpaws.
Even Southpaws don't like fighting other Southpaws, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
They lose that advantage, So everything is Southpaw. When Southpaws spar, if you're a left-hander and you're in X, Y, or Z gym, 95% of your sparring is going to be against right-handers. Mm-hmm. Conversely, a right-hander is going to be sparring 95% of the time with right-handers. So who's got the advantage? The left-hander who spars right-handers all the time, or the right-hander who never spars left-handers and then rarely fights them? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, it's a complete reversal of your normal standards of what you do in the ring. Everything switches. And then you almost have to do a crash course. If you're forced into fighting for whatever reason a Southpaw against your wishes, then you're going to have to bring in 2-3 guys that you're going to have to really learn on the job instead of through successive fights about fighting left-handers. So that's just my experience, and I'm sure many other guys in my position. Look, you talk to most trainers, if they've got right-handers, they're going, why do I want to fight a left-hander? Yep. Unless there's some huge money and I've got the resources to bring in some quality left-handers to get my guy, sharp for it.